You put it on a full screen.
Just 2 minutes. Probably. Okay.
We're good?
Yes, go.
Going to the office or stuff? 3 minutes we can wait.
We'll wait, right?
Right. Thank you so much. In screen mode is working.
Once Prabhu starts, then I will do that.
Okay. Let's just try whether it is coming up nicely.
I think it's coming up. Just now I tried.
Let's try it.
Yes. I mean, not to move slide, but it is.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. It's awesome. Oh. Hare Krishna. It's our great pleasure to have Mrs. Nityanand Prabhu amongst us today. He has been in teaching for very, very long time. And the beauty is, he is very, very specialized in the knowledge on Ramayana. Okay, so Prabhuji will be inviting us on Ramayana, and the subject for today is Sita Ram Kalyanam. So over to you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Om Jnana-Timirandhasya Jnananjana-Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya-Manobhishtam Sthapitam Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Vinamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Vacharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashchatyari Shatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Manojavam Marutatulyavegam, Jitendriyam Tam Varisham, Vatatmajam Vadarayodhamukyam, Shri Ramadudam Shirasa Namami, Pujantam Rama Rameti, Madhuram Madhuraksharam, Aruhya Kavita Shakham, Vande Valmiki Kokilam, Apadamapahakaram, Dataram Sarvasampadam, Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam, Kuyo Bhuyo Mamyaham, Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya, Vame Jagadatmaja, Purato Marutir Yasya, Tambande Raghunandanam, Kshiram Yatha Vikar Vishesha Yoga, Sanjayate nahi tatha pratagasti hetu yahasham bhutamapi tata samupaiti karya govindamadi purusham maham bhajami. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you for being here. I'm a little, not little, I am jet lagged. So my body thinks it's about 4:30 a.m. So I was a little disoriented. I would have been perfectly okay if I had not eaten lunch. But the lunch I had just knocked me out severely. So it will take me a few minutes to get back to my bearing or get my bearings back. But anyway, thank you for being here. I'm very, very grateful to be in your association. Thank you for inviting me to be here, especially in the presence of Sri Radha Madhava. And today being Shivaratri, if I understand it correctly, Shivaratri is the day when Lord Shiva was married to Parvati Devi. And that's the occasion or observance. And on their wedding day, we're going to not gift, who am I to gift? We're going to try and please that wonderful couple, Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi, with the story of the narration of the wedding of Sri Sita and Rama. So one fantastic ideal couple, hearing about their worshipable ideal couple, Sita and Rama. So before I begin one by one, especially in South India, it's a tradition to perform the wedding of Sita and Rama, Lakshmi or Padmavati with Lord Venkateswara, etc. etc. While it's a wonderful event, most people, as far as I know, myself included for a very long time, would sit on those events without knowing why I'm there. And I've noticed most people will be on their phone, and only during when the Pujari will show the Mangal Sutra, they'll all be like, oh yes, yes, for the rest of time, people are on their phone. So the context of it may not be clear. And I myself got educated from it. When we get to that point, I will indicate the importance. But for now, we can just go through the narration, knowing that the wedding of Sita with Ramachandra, Sita Devi with Ramachandra, is something that is very, very relevant and important for each one of us. So we'll get to that in a moment. But this episode appears in the very last section of the Balakanda. Sri Ramachandra and his brothers, they're all almost 12 years old. Dasharath Maharaj is sitting on his throne. Everything in the kingdom is working really well, especially since the birth of these 4 boys. But by this time, Dasharath Maharaj is sitting on his throne in a state of deep contemplation, perhaps even a concern or worry. The worry is, my dear son Sri Rama is 12 years old, he's an eligible bachelor. How am I going to get him married? Now we may think, oh, 12 years old, that's too young. Yeah, it's too young in the modern context. But for great kings, they were already preparing to find the next heir. That next heir has to be married so that there is an heir and the Ikshwaku kingdom can continue further. So while he's sitting there contemplating, Valmiki uses the word Chintayam Asa. Chintayam Asa. He was thinking or he was concerned. At that time, one of his attendants comes and says, "Oh Maharaj, at the gate of the palace, the great Vishwamitra has arrived." Dasharath Maharaj stands up in a spring because everybody knows the history of Vishwamitra Muni. You can't keep him waiting. He will be upset. So Dasharath Maharaj got up, all his ministers got up with him. They ran to the front gate of the palace, offered their obeisances, touched his feet, welcomed him with great honor and pomp while all the Brahmanas are reciting mantras, gave a wonderful seat to Vishwamitra, washed his feet, gave him all the upacharas, Padhyam, Argham, Achamaniyam, Madhuparkam, something nice, lunch to eat, water in a wonderful place to sit, feeling relaxed. And at that time, Dasharath Maharaj said, great persons like you only come to people like us because there must be some purpose of seva for us, not purpose being you want something, why are you here? But there must be some purpose that you want to accomplish for the welfare of the world. How can I serve you? What can I do for you? Vishwamitra Muni said, well, I'm not far from here. I'm in a place called Siddhashram. And there, my friends and I, my fellow rishis, we've been performing sacrifice. It's a 6-day sacrifice. But we're not able to complete the sacrifice. When the final part of the yajna happens to arrive, and we are offering oblations of ghee and saying swaha, up in the sky, there is a rumbling, thundering sound of a very vicious demoness by the name Tataka. Tataka and her entourage of Rakshasas are constantly spoiling our yajna. They are laughing loudly, and throwing blood, urine, mucus, stool, and completely desecrating our yajna. We are not able to complete. Now, before Dasharatha could say something, Vishwamitra said, I have the power in me to utter a curse and finish them off. But my entire yogic power will also go away. Plus, I'm at a stage of life where I don't want to get this is for Kshatriyas, not for me anymore. I'm now Brahma Rishi. This is not for me. So I've come to Kshatriyas because that is the duty of the Kshatriyas to protect. So Dasharath Maharaj said, that's it, no problem. Let's go. I will come along with my entire 4 divisions of army. The elephants, the horses, chariots, cavalry, infantry will all come and immediately take care of Tataka and the Rakshasas. Vishwamitra smiled and said, yeah, thank you. Or as in America we say, thanks, but no thanks. I'm here because I don't want you to come. Then how do you think I can help you? I want that son of yours, that boy, Sri Rama. I want him to come with you. As soon as he heard, I want Rama to come with me, Dasharatha fell back with his heart shattered. Ah, my son Rama? No. I cannot send him. He is very young. I'm okay. So he said, so what we're going to do is post the verse on the screen. So you can follow along if you like. The verses are very, very sweet because you will be able to point to certain words in the verses. Can you see the screen in the back? You can read the verse also?
Yes.
Or is it just some picture and you can clearly read the verse? Okay, good. So Dasharatha Maharaj said, how can I send my son Sri Ramachandra? He's a very young boy. Una Shodasho Varsho Me. Rajiva, Ramo Rajiva Lochana. Una Shodasha. Shodasha is 16. Una means less than. Technically, it also means 1/4 less than. That's 12 years old. Sometimes we say, अरे तो अभी 16 का भी नहीं हुआ, like that. Una Shodasha Varsho. Why is 16 important? Because by the time somebody is 16 in the Kshatriya lineage, they are ready. They're considered to be an adult, to be like a prince fighting a war. Like Abhimanyu was just about 16, not ready to fight, but he went into the battle. And so Dasharath Maharaj says, Una Shodasha, only 16. He's so young that even the initial indicator of mustache and beard has not appeared. So it's not clear, almost like if he's a boy or a girl. He's so tender. And he says, pay attention to the word, Me Rama, my Rama, Rajiva Lochana, one with lotus-like eyes, lotus petal-like eyes. Na Yuddha Yogyatam, na Yuddha Yogyatam, Asya. He is not eligible. He's not eligible to fight a war. Pashyami, I don't see any way that he is ready for it. Saha Rakshasai, along with the Rakshasa. He is not ready. It's a very nice way of saying, sorry, I'm not sending my son with you. And what is the reason he won't send? Because not that his son is young, my son is very young. You see the attachment of a father, my son. So as I'm narrating the verses, I will share with you what the great Sri Vaishnava Acharyas and other Acharyas have decoded for us. So he says, my Rama, Rajiva Lochana. The eyes are like a lotus petal. And there is a reference why he calls it that way. Rajiva means the lotus that is alive, Jiva, with the rising of the sun, Ra. So when the sun rises, the lotus opens. When the sun sets, the lotus closes. So by calling his son Ramachandra Rajiva Lochana, he's telling Vishwamitra, this boy is a very good boy. By the time the sun sets, he goes to bed. He's not one of those 12-year-olds where the lights are off, but under the bedsheet watching Netflix or something. He's not like that. As soon as the sun sets, he falls asleep. And the Rakshasas, they only become strong after the sun sets. So how will my poor little 12-year-old boy, who's not ready to fight this war, be able to fight with the Rakshasas? Saha Rakshasai na yodhya yogyatam. He is not eligible. He is not fit to fight. Now you know Vishwamitra. He doesn't like to hear no. Vishwamitra becomes very upset. So what do you mean? And then he says to him, I'll just keep going, you have to pick the verses, please. Aham vedmi mahatmanam Ramam satya parakramam. Aham vedmi, I know that this Rama is satya parakramam. He is very, very eligible. In fact, mahatmanam, he is the great, great personality. So here's the question. Anybody here with a 12-year-old son or daughter? Wait, a teenager? But let's assume some guest comes to your home the first time they've arrived at your home. You don't know them. They come and tell you, I know everything about your child. That's odd, right? But here's the hidden meaning, right? He says, Aham Vedmi Mahatmanam. This statement we have heard in many, many places. Yeah, the Vedas are full of this statement. Shvetashvatara Upanishad has this, Purusha Sukta has this, and when I say it, you may recognize it. Veda Hametam Purusham Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamasastu Pare. This is the statement saying, Vedaham, I know, Etam, this person, that he is the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Ramachandra. So Vishwamitra is saying, you think he is your son, little boy. I know him as the supreme personality, Sri Rama. And don't think it's just my opinion. Vasishto hi Mahateja. And you see all these sages sitting in your palace, in your courtroom, they also know. Only you don't know. Vasishtha api Mahateja ye cha ime tapasi sthita. These tapasis, all these great Mahateja, effulgent persons, they are sitting here not because they are your minister, they are waiting every day to get the darshan of Ramachandra. That is why they are there. Only you are thinking, my son, he cannot go anywhere. Now the difference is a little philosophy. Okay, philosophy, okay, in middle of story. Dasharatha said, Na yodhya yogyakam pashyami. Pashyami means to see. We cannot know the Lord simply by our blunt senses. People ask, God exists. Can you show me God? So whenever Prabhupada was asked this question, every time he would give a different answer depending on the person he is talking to. One such person said, Swamiji, can you show me God? So Prabhupada answered, yes, but when I show you God, how will you know that that is God? How will you know? Which means you should have some idea who God is, what he looks like. But Pashyami is what are the pramanas by which you can know reality? The first is called Pratyaksha, by vision. If I see something, I take it as truth. Seeing is believing. So we don't necessarily accept that as a complete pramana. Seeing is believing. But for us, the stronger pramana is hearing is believing. That is called Shabda pramana. So there is Pratyaksha pramana, Anumana pramana, like I'm hearing the bell ring in the temple. So I understand there is a temple, there is a Garbhagriha, there is the deity of the Lord there. And there is Shabda pramana. Shabda is when the Guru Parampara will tell us, oh, this is reality. You are not this body. Oh, where is the soul? Show me the soul. Somebody asked like that. So the devotee said, well, do you have a mind? Yes, show me the mind. So here the objection is you are saying Pashyami. That means you don't know the Vida. And there's a longer conversation where Vishwamitra says, I have spent my entire life in tapasya. You sitting on a royal throne, meaning I am a sannyasi, I'm a rishi, you're a grahastha, and you have attachments. You are thinking, this is my son. I am asking him to come with me. This is the internal dialogue, not exact conversation. Because he can't tell him. He's telling him, your son is the Supreme Lord. And Dasharatha is like, no, my 12-year-old boy. I cannot let him go. What is his attachment? I have waited 60,000 years to have this son. I married 365 queens and got this son after 60. He's very old. Dasharatha Maharaj is very old. And at this age, I have this young son. I cannot send him anywhere. This is my son. Of course, for parents, it's difficult. Recently, and I'll digress for a moment. Recently, we've been hearing the prayers of Kunti Devi. In that list of prayers, she says something. Oh, my dear Krishna, I have this attachment to Vrishnis and the Pandava side. Can you please cut that attachment? And one may say, whoa, why? Because Prabhupada in purport writes that for skin disease. Skin disease means this is my family, this is my son, this is my house, this is my car, this is my property, and my spiritual master says my, oh my, how many things I have. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Srila Prabhupada, Sri Ramanujacharya, any of these great personalities, they take sannyas at a very young age or any stage of life, people are like, oh, how can they be like that? How can they leave their family and go? So Kunti, I say recently since I've been thinking about that prayer, one thing that I felt inspired by is Kunti Devi is teaching us a lesson that when a person only thinks about this as my family, then their capacity to give love is very restricted to that family only. But when you think that the entire world is my family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the entire planet is my family, then your capacity to give love grows like anything. But because of attachment, I think this is mine. So I only am operating in a very limited context. That is why these great personalities want to take sannyas to benefit the whole world, the way they would benefit anyone close to them. That's what Kunti is saying in my appreciation, that I don't want to see only the Pandavas and the Vrishnis as mine. I want to see everybody else. So that is the flaw of Dasharatha, that I can't let my son go. So Vishwamitra becomes very upset and he says, you know what? In a sarcastic way, stay at home, be happy with your family and do nothing. And he turns around to go. At that time, Vasishtha Muni gets up and tells Dasharatha, we all know Vishwamitra, we all know his history, he can get very angry. Plus what he is saying, you don't have to worry. I would suggest let Ramachandra go. Dasharath Maharaj feels a little pacified that even Vasishtha is saying, so with tears in his eyes, he said, okay, go. But as soon as Ramachandra goes, somebody else also follows him.
Lakshmana.
He goes, because he's always with Sri Ramachandra. So Vishwamitra asked for one, he got two. So the New Year saying one. So both of these boys, little young 12-year-old boys, are following Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra is walking. Now interestingly, Vishwamitra does not speak at all to Rama or Lakshmana. He just turns around and he walks. And Dasharath Maharaj tells Ramachandra, from till the time you come back, you should do whatever Vishwamitra asks you. Yes, sir. Now 12-year-old generally is restless. They will ask, are we there yet? How far is this? Is there a bathroom somewhere? I'm hungry. I'm tired. Why are we going there? Hundreds of questions. Interestingly, neither Rama or Lakshmana asked any questions, nor did Vishwamitra speak to them. He was just walking. And these two boys are following. So Valmiki says, they walked for 12 miles like that. 12 miles, no conversation. Young boys, inquisitive. So, Adhyartha Yojanam Gatva. Adhi Artha Yojana. That is 1.5 yojana. 12 miles. Gatva Sarabhya Dakshine Tate. On the southern bank of the Sarayu river they reached. At that time, Vishwamitra became so pleased that his face had a sweet smile, turned around, and in a very sweet voice said, Rama. He's talking to Ramachandra. Rama iti madhuram vakyam, madhuram vani, Vishwamitra abhyabhashata. This is the first time Vishwamitra has addressed Sri Ramachandra. So the question is, why 12 miles? Why there was no conversation? So there was no conversation from Vishwamitra's side is because he's a guru and he's testing his disciples. So Prabhupada tells us that before accepting a guru, one should test the guru. And then after being accepted, then the guru tests the disciple. So one should test each other. Is this the right person for me? The guru also will test. Is this the right disciple? So he's testing from his side. So what the way to test is, he did not speak to them to see if these boys will know how to follow orders. And fantastically, they didn't ask anything. And from their side, they are not testing Vishwamitra, they are expressing their obedience. The first order of being a eligible disciple is discipline or obedience. So they just followed quietly. And he was so pleased just by that statement. Rametu Madhuram Bani. It shows that Vishwamitra is very pleased. And the success of one's life in bhakti is the pleasure of the Guru. We say every day, what happens when the Guru is pleased? One achieves, one receives Krishna's mercy. Yasya prasada. Prasada is mercy or the pleasure. Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasada. And then the other is also, the warning is from Vishwanath Chakravarti. Yasya aprasada, not yasya prasada. Yasya aprasada, nagati kuchoti. There is no hope for anything. So, in principles of bhakti, the Vishwamitra was very, very pleased. So they went to Siddhashrama and Ramachandra was standing guard along with Lakshmana. There are many details, there's a whole bunch of chapters. And as they are walking, they haven't reached Siddhashrama, but at each of the banks of the rivers, they would go, then he would narrate some stories. So the very first night, when they reached the southern shore of the Sarayu river, it was already evening time. Vishwamitra thought the boys must be tired. It's almost sunset time. So they all said, we will all lie down here. This is the first time the two greatest princes on the planet slept on the barren floor. They were used to sleeping in beds made of gold, mattresses made of such wonderful feathers that feels like froth or foam on milk. So soft, elegant, royal. And the boys are sleeping on the ground. So when the morning sun is about to rise, there's a famous verse, especially in South India, in every home it is played. Vishwamitra is very eager to wake them up. And so is this famous verse. Kausalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narashardula Kartavyam Daiva Manvika. Famous verse. The Sri Vaishnava Acharyas have given 108 meanings for this verse. I don't know them. But there are some words that are meaningful. Here he says, Kausalya Supraja. Not just Praja means child or family or he says Supraja. Means very good, darling son. But he doesn't say Dasharatha Supraja. Because he's upset with Dasharatha. He's not, but Kausalya did not stop. Apparently, she happily let Ramachandra go. So Vishwamitra said, in history, I want it to be known that he is Kausalya Supraja, not Dasharatha. Dasharatha had all obstacles and objections. Kausalya Supraja. Purva Sandhya. Purva means the first Sandhya. Pravartate. It's about to start. It's starting. Uttishta Nara Shardula. Oh, tiger among men. Uttishta. Please wake up. Kartavyam Daiva Mandika. It is time to perform daily duties. So in one way, when he's playing the role of a guru, he's waking his disciples up so that they will perform their morning duties. That is from the side of Tattva. But we are all interested in Rasa. Tattva is for the intelligence. Rasa is Sadaha. The hidden part is he has been waiting for hundreds and thousands of years to have the darshan of Lord Ramachandra. And he has gotten the honor of being the Guru. That's the role he's playing. And so all these years, he has been sitting facing east, offering his Sandhya Vandana, chanting of the Gayatri mantra. Somebody asked this morning, why the Brahma Gayatri is coded into the Valmiki Ramayana. In this world, the Brahma Gayatri was revealed to the world by Vishwamitra Muni. So he would chant the Gayatri every day, looking at the sun, praying to the Lord Narayana. But Lord Narayana is sitting right in front of him. So he is hurriedly wake him up. Wake up, Kartavyam. It's my time for offering my duties. He is wake up. That is the rasa. He is eager. Anyway, so we'll continue. He says Rama. Rama because the entire world, by chanting that word Rama, becomes filled with pleasure and joy. Okay. So as they're walking next day, he narrates a whole bunch of stories from the Puranas. By the time they reach Siddhashrama, he has told them the story of Bali Maharaj and Vamana. On the banks of the river Shona, he has told them about Kusha and Kushanava, that is Vishwamitra's own ancestors. Vishwamitra has many names. Vishwamitra came as a title. His name is Gahi. And he is the descendant of the great kings Kusha and Kushanava. When they went to the bank of the Ganges, Vishwamitra narrated the story of the marriage of Lord Shiva with Parvati. How after Sati, Lord Shiva was in meditation, the Devatas wanted a leader, but that leader can only be born to Lord Shiva, so they had to bring Parvati so they will get married. Then Kartikeya, it was a long story which Prabhupada is narrating. The question is, why is he narrating the stories? Is he entertaining the boys with stories, like how some parents on a long drive will have some video for the children so that they're not too disturbed. He's entertaining the kids, no doubt, but he's a guru and he's teaching them lessons for life that they will remember for the rest as they move into becoming princes and later kings and later going into the forest. So they're learning life lessons, as they say. It's a famous phrase in India, life lessons. They're learning life lessons from Vishwamitra. They're hearing from their guru. So he talked, when they came to the city of Vishala, he told them the story of the churning of the milk ocean, the story of Aditi's earrings being stolen, and how Diti wanted to take revenge on Indra, and the Maruts were born, all that's there in the Bhagavatam as well. And saying this story, they've reached the outskirts of Mithila and they've entered where is some very special place, Gautama's ashram, where Ahalya Devi is there. So Ahalya Vimochan has also done. And then they reach Siddhashrama. 6 days, Yajna is done. Tataka is killed. So in America, I use this joke. I don't know how it will be relevant for you. Before killing Tataka, Tataka's 2 sons came to attack. The first one was Maricha. Ramachandra did not kill Maricha because this is the very first fight. I'm sorry, before Maricha came, Tataka herself came. And Ramachandra hesitated. Very first time, I'm going to shoot an arrow. It's going to be a woman. In history, I'm going to go down as, hey, the very first battle you kill a woman. So he hesitated. He looked at Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra says, don't look at the body, Because what is important is not just woman, but what kind of woman. She's a Rakshasi. So for you, you will never get blamed for killing a Rakshasi. But this 12-year boy, that, should I still? Then Vishwamitra gave some precedents, like, oh, this was done previously. Lord Vishnu did someone else. Okay, so you're okay. Then Ramachandra shot and killed him. Then Maricha came. But for Maricha, he did not kill him. He shot him an arrow and sent him 800 miles into the ocean. So in US, we have for immigrants like us, what is called an H1 visa, work permit. So Maricha got work permit across the oceans. But Subahu also applied, but he was rejected. He was killed. He didn't get his visa. So then all of this is over. It's time to go home. But Vishwamitra actually brought Rama and Lakshmana because he has a different plan altogether. The plan is to take them to Mithila. Because in Mithila there is Janaka and there is someone else there. Who is that? But if he takes Rama directly to Mithila, then the first question Janaka will ask is, Ladka karta kya hai? What does he do? What does the boy do? Has he accomplished anything? At that time, Vishwamitra used to look at Ramachandra's, we call it CV, CV, biodata, and say, he hasn't accomplished anything. He's just a very good boy. He listens to his father and mother. Oh, he listens only to his father and mother. I'm not sure if I want to give my daughter. There must be something, some accomplishment must be there. And to fill his resume, Vishwamitra took him to kill Tataka, Subahu, Maricha. If he says, you know, he killed Tataka. Oh, he kills, Subahu and Maricha. Oh, very good, very good. There is a book called Subhashita. Subhashita is very well-spoken verses. They teach good lessons in life. So one of my favorite Subhashita is that for marriage, everybody has different objectives in a marriage. And the Subhashita says, Kanya Varayate Rupam. The bride is interested in only one thing. Will we look together good in a selfie? Is he good looking? Kanya Varayate Rupam. Mata Ittam. The mother of the bride is like, selfie and all that is good. What's the salary? What's the pay package? Can you take care of my daughter? Pita Shrutam. The father of the bride wants to know, hey, does this fellow have any education? Because education means some intelligence is there, needs to know how he can manage life with some intelligence. Bandhavaha kulam icchanti. All the relatives on both sides, especially on the girl's side, want to know what kind of family does he come from? Because especially in India, if the groom's mamas, third cousins, nephew went to jail, they will say, oh, bad family. This is not a good family. They have jail in their world. So, Bandhava Kulam Icchanti. Then there are others. Itare Jana, like me. Mrishthanam Icchanti. They want to know what's on the menu in the wedding. Menu kya hai? So, I was told recently that in weddings nowadays, they, along with the invitation, they also send the menu. So you can decide, oh, that looks good. All the varieties of food, I want to go for this wedding. Mrishthanam Icchanti Itare Jana, all the others. Most of them want to know, okay, I'll go at the time when I have to sprinkle some flower petals, but stand in line. So he cannot take them for marriage, especially Ramachandra. Now, the backstory that we don't necessarily know directly from Valmiki is that just as Vasishtha Muni is the priest for Dasharatha, Janaka's priest is by the name Shatananda. Shatananda, hundreds of times this. Shatananda is the son of Gautama and Ahalya. So he also had some other agenda. I want Sri Ramachandra to please bring him through Ahalya's place. The mother is there, invisible to everybody. In some versions of Ramayana, they say that she was cursed to be a sword. In the Valmiki Ramayana, Gautama curse is going to be invisible. Nobody will notice you. I mean, you can imagine if you go to a program, nobody says, Haribol, don't to you. You're invisible. How do you feel? And not for one day. Every program, every place, Rath Yatra, you're all dancing and no one says, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, program. What? Am I dancing? No. But that's the because nobody will see. Nobody will listen. Until the lovely dust to the feet of Sri Ramachandra will release you from it. So he had this. But he wanted to make sure that Janaka gets to meet Sri Ramachandra because after all. So he said, okay, boys, we are done with what we need to do, but we are not going back to Ayodhya. Instead, we are going to go to Mithila. The boys were like, why are we going to walk there in the town? So because boys like toys, he said, oh, in Mithila, there is something very nice for you guys. You will enjoy something. Tam chaiva darashadula saha asmabhir gavishyasi. Oh, Ramachandra, along with me, asmabhir gavishyasi. You will go to a place called Mithila, Adbhutam Dhanurratnam cha tatra tat drashtum argasi. There is a very beautiful bow that you would love to see. As soon as they say toys, oh, yes, you're ready, let's go. This Dhanush. So he takes them to Mithila. They enter the border of Mithila. As soon as they enter, the word goes to Janaka Maharaj that Vishwamitra is there. So just like Dasharatha Maharaj, Janaka also jumps up, runs to the gate to receive them. The way he sees Vishwamitra, behind Vishwamitra are these two boys. So Janaka, while he's washing feet of Vishwamitra looking, he's also wow, handsome young man. I've never seen anyone like this. So he's very eager.
Your
So
volume.
he asks Vishwamitra, Imo Kumaro, Bhadram Te. In Bhagavatam we hear Bhadram Te. May all of Kumaro, these two boys. Deva Tulya Parakramam. They look like they have the prowess of the demigods. And they are walking. Gaja Simha Gati Viro. Shardula Vrishabha Upama.
Need to get down and dirty.
Gaja. Look like lions are walking. Look like bulls are walking. Tigers are walking. So great personalities, when they walk, apparently they have these style of walking that shows their personality. Generally, even for women who have very enchanting walk, they are called Gajagamini or Hamsagamini. They walk like a swan. It's the beauty in their walk. So here when he says they are walking like elephants, you know how elephants walk. When they walk with abandon, nothing. Anything in front of them gets crushed. That means there's such regal power in them. Simhagati. Apparently, lions when they walk some steps and they look back. And they walk further. So it is said like the Kshatriyas are like lions because as they are walking, everybody knows in the jungle that's the king. They have that stance and they keep looking back to see from where they have come, what they have accomplished, and they're moving forward. Shardula means tigers. Tigers don't have necks, they can't turn around. But Shardula, tigers are very soft steps. And they're very powerful. Tiger, have you ever seen a tiger? This is massive, very powerful, but stealthy. When they walk, they don't make too much noise. Vrishabha, bull, literally an ox. An ox is very, very powerful. When he stands like this, all the cows know, whoa, he's the boss here. And there is no stopping. When the bull walks, you can't stop the bull. I think in Hindi it's called san, ox. Very, very powerful. He said they're walking like that. Padma Patra Vishalaksha, their eyes are so big and shaped like lotus petals. Khadga Tuni Dhanurdhara. Khadga, swords. Tuni is quivers. Dhanurdhara, and they're holding bows. Ashwina Rupa Sampanna. They look like the Ashwini Kumaras. In the entire universe, Ashwini Kumaras are considered the most handsome. Sarupasthita Yavana, and they are standing here as very young, delicate, handsome two boys. Yadrikshaya Gram Prapta. What is my fortune that their feet is touching my kingdom? Gam is the earth. Deva Loka Iva Amaro. It looks like the two demigods have descended from the heavenly planets. Katham Padhyam Iha. How have they walked and come here? Kim Artham. Why have they come here? Kasya. Who do they belong to? Whose sons are they? Hey Mune, please tell me. I'm very eager. Because he's also thinking, will he be a good bachelor for my, will he be a good suitable, eligible bachelor for my daughter? So Vishwamitra says, yeah, they are the sons of Dasharatha, but they have come here because we heard that you are doing a yajna for this great bow. Can you please show them the bow? So Janaka Maharaj says, yes, absolutely. Anybody is welcome to come and see the bow. But before I show the bow, I want to tell you the story of how this bow came into my life. He says, in our family, my ancestor had the name Devarata. And one time, Vishwakarma, the architect of the universe, he created two mighty bows. Dhanu. Two. Very, very exquisite, powerful, golden, heavy, studded with diamonds and pearls and varieties of rubies and sapphires. Very, very exquisite looking bows. And so the Devatas were very amazed by the bows and they said, oh, we want to see a celebrity match of how these bows work. So who are the two celebrities in the universe? Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. Please, we want to see them fight a match with this bow. So we can all see, everyone likes to see a great match, right? Especially cricket, World Cup, India, Pakistan, everyone wants to watch. So it's like, oh, we want to watch this game. Please. So they convinced Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva. So both Lord Shiva and Vishnu picked up the bow and stood facing each other. Mahadeva was ready with his bow. Lord Vishnu was ready with his bow. And before the game started, Lord Vishnu uttered a humkara. Hum means that's the sound Kshatriyas make to show their props. But the sound of the Vishnu's humkara was so strong that the bow in Shiva's hand cracked a little bit. Lord Shiva said, I'm not going to fight with this bow. So he gave it to the Devatas. Janaka Maharaja's ancestor Devarata was invited to fight a battle on behalf of the Devatas with the Asuras. And he fought very well. The Devatas became very pleased with him and gifted him that bow of Lord Shiva. Now in Janaka's family, they are all such great kings that everybody has the title Janaka. Janaka in Sanskrit means father. They were such good kings that they got the universal title of father. Everybody is a Janaka, although they have names for themselves. That Janaka who spoke to the Navayogendras, his name is Nimi. This Janaka, his name is Kushat Bhajan. But he has a title Janaka. So he said, from Devarata, from generation to generation, every king Janaka was handed this bow down. So for generations, it's been in our family and we worship it every day. But I have a special request. I have made this challenge that if there is anybody in the universe who can lift that bow, then I will give my daughter in marriage. So I'm curious to know if Sri Rama got this clue. Vishwamitra didn't say anything. Ramachandra obviously will not talk, he's behind Vishwamitra. So he says, yeah, let's go to see the bow. Vishwamitra, Janaka Maharaja claps and calls his attendants and says, bring the bow. 5,000 muscular men, Bahubali style, on a cart with 18 wheels. Bring that bow. It's on wheels still. Takes a lot. They bring, they keep in front of you. Everybody's counting. So look at the bow. And Janaka says, you know, for this bow, since the time I've put this challenge, so many kings have come. And they got frustrated because they could not lift this bow. And they became angry at me and waged many wars with me because they were upset. What kind of challenge is this? So they fought wars with me. I had to fight and defeat them just to keep this bow safe and my challenge safe. So then, our wonderful Vishwamitra. So this is the challenge he says. Yadyasya dhanusho Rama. Yadi asya dhanusha Rama. Puryad aropadam. If he can lift it. Mune o Vishwamitra. Sutam ayonijam Sitam. Sita ayonija. Yonija means born through a womb. Ayonija means she is not born like how human beings are born. She is divine. She appeared from the earth. Dadyam Dasharate Aham. I will give my daughter to the son of Dasharatha. Ramachandra is a very good boy, very obedient disciple. He's just standing there. Vishwamitrastu Dharmatma Shrutva Janaka Bhashitam. He heard this. He turned to Sri Ramachandra and said, Vatsa Rama Dhanur Pashya Iti Raghavam Abravit. This is what he said to Ramachandra. What did he say? Vatsa Rama Dhanur Pashya. Oh my dear child Rama, look at the bow. Pashya. He didn't say pick it up. Look at the bow. So our Acharyas, the Sri Vaishnava Acharyas, have a fantastic field day with his words. Vatsa. Why Sri Ramachandra was addressed as Vatsa? So one meaning apparently. Vishwamitra, although is the Guru, he knows Ramachandra is the Supreme Lord. But when he looks at the beautiful face of Sri Ramachandra, he forgets that this is the Lord. He thinks he's a small child. So from Aishwarya, he's gone into Madhurya, the sweetness, Vatsalya Prema. So he says, my dear little child, please be careful. So he didn't say lift it, because what if the child cannot lift it? So he just says, look at the boy. That's all that is. So Vatsa, little boy. Another is, the hidden meaning is he's warning Ramachandra. You know, last time you came as a little boy. Bali Maharaj thought, oh, only a small child, young Vatuka Brahman. He wanted only 3 paces of land. And very quickly, from Vamana, you became Trivikrama. Right? And covered the entire universe. Don't be in a rush. Remain like a child. Vatsa. Just be a child. One of the names of Lord Vishnu is because he has 3 strands of hair, whitish hair here. What is that mark called? Yeah, you're right. Say it confidently. Shri Vatsa. So he's telling him, Vatsa, there is some time, Shri will come here, and now you become again Shri Vatsa. And then he says, Vatsa Rama. Now, Apparently, the tradition is Vatsa is the address to the youngest in the assembly. Who's the youngest in the assembly? Lakshmana. So the Acharya, his name is Periyavachan Pillai. He says that as soon as Vishwamitra said Vatsa, Lakshmana will stand up. So before Lakshmana stands up, he said Vatsa Rama. We are addressing Ramachandra here. Lakshmana, your role is very, you just have to witness here, not for you to get up. There is a word called Hanuman Natakam, where it is described that Hanuman composed the entire Ramayana as he saw it. So in Hanuman Natakam, we were discussing this earlier today. Apparently, Janaka Maharaj sees that nobody is picking up the bow, these boys are not doing anything. So he asks, Nirviryam Purvitale, is there on this earth, Purvitale, no hero, no Virya? Nirviryam Purvitale. So Lakshmana becomes very angry. What do you mean? What do you mean there is no hero? My brother is here. Lakshmana, even little insult to Ramachandra, he becomes very angry. He gets insulted, it doesn't even matter. You never see Lakshmana angry when he's insulted. Not even. In fact, you won't even notice. We'll discuss tomorrow or day after. And Lakshmana is insulted, but no reference to his becoming angry. But as soon as even the slightest insult for Ramachandra, his eyes are red and ready to finish, burn everything. So he says, what do you mean? My brother is here. So as soon he thinks that Vishwamitra is thinking, Janaka will think like that, and Lakshmana will become angry. So Vatsa Rama, please get up and look at the bow. He's also thinking, you may get hurt. Bow is very big, mighty, heavy. So please take care that you don't get hurt. So Vatsa Rama. And then he says, Vatsa Rama Dhanu. This is your Dhanu. When Vishwakarma created it, there were two like this. So this is meant to come to you. And he says, Pashya. Vatsa Rama Dhanu Pashya. Look at. Now the Guru may give an instruction. Some disciples will take it very literally. Sometimes the instructions are very literal. Get me water. Prabhupada says, then you should get water. Do not think, oh, maybe I should get Coca-Cola first. He asked water, you bring water. But when Hanuman was sent to Lanka to just get the news of Sita Devi, Hanuman burnt Lanka also. That was not the requirement, nor was it. But a good servant, messenger is one who knows the heart of the master. So to know why did he do it, he wants to put fear in Ravana. So that is how one should learn what's in the heart of the Guru. And how does one learn that? Not just by time, but by loving service. Through loving service, one can understand the heart of the Lord. So he says, just look at the bow. Another meaning, look at the bow. There's a beautiful verse in Brahma Samhita. And when I recite it, I'm sure you will recognize it. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittiman pashyanti panti valayam jaganti ananda chinmaya sadujjala vigrahasya govindam adipurusham tamam prajam. Angani yasya sakala indriya vritti. Every sense can perform the function of all other senses. Ramachandra can look at the bow and the bow will stand up. He looked at the ocean, the whole ocean boiled over. He can, with his ears, do what his hands can do. With his eyes, he can do what his mouth can do. We cannot do. Our senses cannot fully do what they are meant to do. We need corrective lenses for our eyes, maybe adjustment for hearing. Nose cannot smell all the smells if the sinuses are blocked, in limit it. But Ramachandra can. So by saying Pashya, it also means you can lift it. Okay. So Ramachandra walked up to the bow, offered it some pranam, touched it. While everyone is looking, lifted it up. so easily as if a child, how Lord Krishna lifted Govardhan hill like a child plucks a mushroom. Here Valmiki says, Pashyatam Nripa Sahasranam. Hundreds of kings, Sahasras thousands of kings are looking. Bahunam Raghunandana Aropyatsa Dharmatma Sa Leelam Eva Tadbharu. Leela, play. Sa Leelam Eva, as if he is playing. So easily, a 12-year-old boy, skinny, picked up the bow without any effort, not any gym style, just very easily. People couldn't realize how quickly he picked it and the shock of his picking up the bow. Now he was told to pick the bow, that was the requirement. But Ramachandra, is one of those students. I'm sure in all our classes, there is one such student. Teacher says write 2 sentences, they will write 4 pages. Right? He's one of those students. Aropitva dharmatma purayamasa tadbhalu. So he not only lifted the bow, he with one foot held it, bent down, pulled the string up because bows are never strung. You string it at the turn. Purayama pulled it down and strung the bow. That's even extra. You want extra points. Okay, that was also not enough. Then he lifted the bow, Purayamasa, pulled it all the way to his ear. And suddenly, the whole bow cracked and broke into half. Everybody there was so shocked, the sound was so loud, the earth was shaking, and everybody fainted except 4 feet. Rama, Lakshmana, Vishwamitra, everyone else fainted. Tasya Shabdo Mahan Asi Nirghata Samaniswana Bhumi Kampascha Sumahan. The whole earth shook. Parvatasya Iva Divyata. Just the way when a mountain is struck with lightning and things shake up, and there's an earthquake, the earth shakes. That was the effect of the bow. Nipeduscha nara sarve tena shabdena mohita. Everyone fell unconscious. Varjayitva munivaram rajan tamcha raghavam. So except for Janaka, Vishwamitra and the 2 boys. Now, this bow breaking is a big event. Different poets, sages, scholars and devotees have given commentary on what the breaking of the bow is. We are in Lord Shiva's abode. And we are talking about the breaking of his bow on the day of his marriage. Right? So there must be some reference to Lord Shiva in Pala. So there is a word called Udara Raghavam. Udara, generous. Udara Raghavam. In which the poet says that when the earth shook, Kailash is where Lord Shiva is sitting. And Kailash also shook. Kailash was shaking, Parvati got scared. And she came running and embraced Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva had a great smile on his face. I say, thank you, Ramachandra. Ideally, one would think that Lord Shiva would become upset that his bow was broken. But the effect of it is that Parvati came to embrace him. Shiva became very pleased. He had a big smile on his face. In Hanumat Natakam, it is said that when the bow broke, 3 women became eligible for marriage. We know one who was eligible for marriage at that point because the bow was broken. Who was that?
Sita.
Sita. Her name is Shri. Shri means Lakshmi Devi. So that's one eligible lady. Young girl, but eligible. Then he says, Hanuman says, then there is another woman. Her name is Hri. H-R-I. What does Hri mean? Bashfulness, shame, or embarrassment. He said that Hri married all the other 1,000 kings that were there because they all had come for marriage, right? To see if they can lift the bow. they all became married to Hri, which means they became embarrassed. Their heads hung low like that in shame. It's a poetic way of saying. And there's a third woman there. Her name is Kirti. Kirti is fame. Kirti went round the universe to tell everyone that I'm also marrying Sri Ramachandra. That means he became world famous, universe famous, that he had lifted and broken the bow. So Shri, Hri, and Kirti became eligible. Oh, almost out of time. There is a lot of description on why the bow, what is the meaning of the bow, why Ramachandra carries the bow. I don't think I have the time for it. But I'll give you one or two sentences because I don't want to leave you like that.
Please take your time.
I can't take my time. I'm allotted till 6:45, so 6 minutes. I'll pack it up. This marriage is not happening. Ramachandra, the bow in all our Upanishads, Mandukya Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishads, describe that the bow is this body. And on this body, we are meant to mount the arrow called Atma. I'll read you the Upanishad verse. Pranavo hi dhanu, not body. Pranava, Omkara. Hi dhanu. Sharo hi Atma. The soul is the arrow that is meant to be mounted on Om. Brahma tam lakshate. And the target is Brahman, that is the Supreme Lord. That means by reciting or chanting Om, the Atma is to be sent to, or the destination is the Supreme Lord, Sri Ramachandra. And how is one supposed to do that? Apramatteva vethavyam. Without becoming bewildered, distracted, one should chant one's mantra properly. This is in Mundaka Upanishad and Mandukya Upanishad. That's why Ramachandra carries the bow. Second reason is the bow describes a very important Vedic tattva. The bow has three parts: the upper part, the lower part, and the string. And we heard that it is called Pranava, Omkara. Omkara also has three: A, U, and Ma. What does Lord Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita about Akara? Akarosmi. Wherever you hear the syllable A, it refers to Lord Vishnu. You know the verse from Bhagavatam. Akama, Sarvakama, Mokshakama, Udarati. Akama means desireless. But our Acharya also say, Akama means those who have a desire for Lord Vishnu. Akama, I desire Lord Vishnu. I desire Lord Krishna. So, means the upper part of the bow, it represents the Supreme Lord. The lower part is called Makara. Makara is the Jiva Tattva, the soul. And that which connects the soul to the Supreme Lord is the string, Ukara. And she is Rajani Potency, Sita Devi, Radharani, or Lakshmi Devi, those people. And these three parts remain, they're only connected by the string, but for them to meet, you have to pull the string. And how far do you have to pull? Ideally, you have to pull it to your ear. You heard the Purayama Satal. Only when the bow is pulled or the string is pulled to the ear, which means one must hear the mantra and practice the mantra by hearing from one's guru. When that happens, that bow breaks because of the string being pulled. And the upper part comes to meet the lower part. Only by the grace of Sita Devi does the Supreme Lord come to meet the Jiva. In the entire Bhagavatam or in any Purana, there is no instance where the living being on his own can go to Vaikuntha. There is always somebody from Vaikuntha coming, or the Lord himself coming and taking the Jiva. That means Somebody from there, either the Lord or his messenger, has to come, meet the Jiva and take him back. Then that is why Ramachandra carries the bow. Not only the weapon, it is also a symbol of dharma. So anyway, the bow is broken, you have to get to the wedding. That's why we're all here. So there are other meanings, but okay, I'll say it because there's a wonderful. Can I take 5 extra minutes if you don't mind? Is that okay? 5 minutes? You have some patience, 5 minutes? Okay, fine. Even if you don't have to say yes. The Supreme Lord has a certain characteristic that is not necessarily among human beings. That by one act, they can accomplish multiple results and consequences. And it's called Sahoti Alankara in the way they express it. So, here's a beautiful poetic way. If you want, you can close your eyes and visualize what this means. So, Ramachandra is picking up the bow. You can visualize what that might look like. And then, because the bow has been worshipped with kumkuma, turmeric, chandan, sandalwood, flowers. So when he picks up the bow, he shakes it. And all the kumkuma, turmeric, chandan, flowers are all falling. So the verse describes in another point that when Ramachandra is picking up the bow, Vishwamitra's hair is standing on the end. Why? Great pride. My student. That is my student. Because when a disciple accomplishes something wonderful, more than the disciple, the greater joy is for the Guru. And then when Ramachandra is bending that bow, it says that as he's bending the bow, the heads of all the kings are also bending like that. In shame. Then as he's shaking this bow, and kumkuma, chandan, everything is falling, it means all the doubts in Janaka's heart, or head, brain, whatever the doubts are there. Will my daughter ever get married? Is there a hero? All those doubts are being shaken and falling to the ground. And as he's pulling the bow and tightening the knot on it, in Lanka and in Kishkinda, Tara, Mandodari, and other Rakshasi wives, their Mangal Sutra knot became loose. Understand the poetic method? That because Ramachandra will get married to Sita, only then he will go to the forest and relieve the world of Vali and the Rakshasa, Ravana, Indrajit, Kumbhakarna, and all the list of others. So their Mangal Sutras not speaking loose. It's a poetic way of expressing. Kalidasa says, when Ramachandra broke the bow, he also broke Parashurama's pride. Because Parashurama wanted to punish all the Kshatriyas. But after this incident, Parashurama stops all of his escapades and goes back to Mount Mahindra. Okay, so then Janaka got all excited. Oh, time for marriage. Ramachandra said, what marriage? I never came here for marriage. And I cannot marry without my father's permission. So then everybody said, no, but Dasharatha is not here. So Vishwamitra said, please send message to Dasharatha that your son is about to get married, please come. And there, remember, they all started with Dasharatha, Chintaya Masa. Wow, this is the best news. So Dasharatha, along with all of his ministers, carried tons and tons of gifts, gold and jewelry and silks and this gift, all riding on elephants, and quickly came to Mithila. And now that Dasharatha is there, Vasishta Muni is there, Janaka is there, Vishwamitra is there. They said, okay, please bring Sita again. Rama is standing. Oh, but we'll end it with something else. They conducted all 4 marriages together, but we'll come to that in a minute. Beautiful verse. If I'll read the Sanskrit, try and visualize in your mind's eye. Tata Sitam Samaneya Sarva Abharana Bhushitam Samakshamagne Samsthapya Raghava Abhimukhe Pada. I'll explain it, I'll read it again, and then we can visualize it. Tata, at that time, Sitam Samaniya. Aniya means to bring. Samaniya means she was carrying. Tata Sitam Samaniya. How is she coming? Sarva Abharana Bhushita. Now, Janaka's jewelry is from Singapore market. Everything is shining. And it's not just gold, but diamonds and rubies and emeralds. And she's decorated from head to toe. On her head has multiple tiaras and diamond earrings, shining necklaces, bangles, cameras, all sorts of things. So you cannot see Sita. It's all like a ball of light. And she's carried in a palanquin. Tata Sita Samaniya Sarva Abharana Bhushita Samaksham Agni. In the presence of Agni, Samsthapya. She was left there. And how was she left there? Raghava Abhimukhe. Face to face with Sri Rama. This is the first time he's seeing her. It's the first time she's seeing him. In Tulsidas Goswami's Ramcharitmanas, they saw each other previous. In Kamba Ramayana also, they saw each other. In Tyagaraja's song, he says Sita is standing somewhere in the balcony. And Ramachandra is out there, so handsome. She has to look at him. But if she looks at him, everyone like, hey, that's not right. So Tyagaraja in his song says she wants to take a quick glance at Sri Ramachandra. So she picks up her hand, shaking her bangles and adjusting them. So everybody is thinking she's adjusting her bangles, but she's looking at Rama. Very strong. So she is brought in, it's made to stand in front of Ramachandra. Abravit Janako Raja Kausalya Ananda Vardhan. Ramachandra is called Kausalya Ananda Vardhan. And this is what Janaka said. There's a famous verse. Iyam Sita Mama Sutta Saha Dharma Charitava Praticha Chainam Bhadramte Pandin Brindishwa Pandinam. Oh Ramachandra, he's not saying I'm giving my daughter. He says, please reach out your hand, Pandin Brindhitva Pandinam. By your hands, please hold her hand. Because the marriage is considered complete at Panigrahan. Panigrahan means holding the hands. And he says, Iyam Sita, this Sita, Mama Sutta, my daughter. We recently heard, Me Rama, my son. And Vishwamitra became very upset. Here Janaka is saying, Mama Sutta, my daughter, Saha Dharma Charitava. She will always be walking the path of Dharma with you. It's a prophetic statement. And then he says, Pativrata Mahabhaga Chayeva Arugata Sada. Pativrata. She is a Pativrata. Now, how can a father know that his unmarried daughter is a Pativrata? You only get the title Pativrata after marriage. He says Pativrata Mahabhaga. Why? Because I am Janaka. Janaka is considered one of the greatest kings who is free of the bodily concept of life. That's why he has the name Janaka. He has the name Mimi, etc. There's a long story between the fight between one Janaka and Vasishtha. That's in the Bhagavad. One says Pativrata Mahabhaga. Mahabhaga, one of great opulence. Chaya Iva Anugata Sada. She will always be with you like a shadow. Shadow is very interesting. When you are walking towards the source of light, the shadow is always behind you. Correct? That means Ramachandra, when you are walking towards Dharma, She will be a wonderful companion walking behind you. If for some reason the source of light is behind you, meaning if there is some obstacle, some difficulty in your life, the shadow will be in front. She will stand in front of you, take that difficulty first before you take it. And sometimes she will be right beside you as your best friend. That is why the reference to Chaya is very, very sweet. Chayeva Anugata Sada. Sahadharmachari. You are the emblem of Dharma. She is no less. Generally in a wedding, they have something called Pravara. Pravara means the boys' side will recite the names of all their ancestors to show how great they are. Then the girls' side will also read their Pravara. On this side, they will say Manu, Ikshvaku, then all the names of the kings, Aja, Dasharatha, Raghu, Aja, Dasharatha, like that. The girl side, in a funny way, will say, what is the use? Look at our kings. At the end, after all, your boy, Rama, was born to Kausalya, right? He's a human being. Our side, Sita, she was not born like a human being. She appeared from the earth. So our side is great. In Mithila, nobody refers to Ramchandra as Sri Rama. They all refer to him as their son-in-law. That is all they call him, son-in-law. Because for them, Sita is their daughter, Ramchandra is their son-in-law. So, Iyam Sita, very, very beautiful words. Iyam Sita. Why should Janaka say this Sita? Ramachandra can see there's the Agni and she's standing right there. So, because Sita is a divine personality, she cannot be seen by direct sense perception unless she reveals herself to anyone. She revealed herself to Ravana as Maya Sita or as Sita. That's why Ravana could take her. Otherwise, Ravana can where is Sita? You can't even see. Like we cannot see Srimati Radharani unless she reveals herself. We can't see Krishna unless he reveals himself, right? That's what Rupa Goswami tells us. Ata Sri Krishna Nam Adi. Na Bhavet Grahyam Indriya. Your Indriyas cannot hold or capture Nam Adi, name, form, qualities, pastimes. Unless Swayam Eva Spurahati, unless they reveal themselves, one has no option, one has no way to know about the Lord. So direct sense is telling this is. But another meaning is Ramachandra may say, there are many Sitas, right? There are many Sitas. So which Sita are you talking about? So the poets humorously say, don't look here and there, this Sita. Another beautiful meaning is she is wearing so much jewelry that the eyes are, she's dazzling. So Ramachandra's eyes are just a blob of light dazzling. Where is Sita? Janaka is saying, Iyam Sita, here, right in front of you, she's standing like that. Another is that the Lord is always searching for his consort. And in the same mood, the Goswamis of Vrindavan are always searching for Krishna and Radha. Right? Hey Radha, Rajadevi, Hey Chanakya, Hey Nanda Sona, where are you? Ramachandra is always searching, Sita, where are you? Sita, where are you? So Janaka is here, because they came, Ramachandra came into Ayodhya, Sita came into Mithila. So he's searching. He says, yes, right here in front of him. And then is this wonderful word, Iyam Sita Mama Sutta. My daughter. There, when he said my, as Dasharatha, we said bodily concept of life, attachment to him. But here, Janaka has no bodily concept at all. So when he says my daughter, it means I have taught her how to be a great Dharmachari. Therefore, with pride, he says mine. So there are two types of pride. One is an unhealthy pride. Unhealthy pride is, look at me, how great I am. I'm very intelligent, I'm handsome, I'm rich, I'm strong, whatever is my title for why I think I'm very proud. Such a person is a fool, number one. But the other pride is to say, I have received the grace of Srila Prabhupada and my spiritual master. That is my pride. I belong to this wonderful parampara of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. That is the pride we carry. And that is a healthy pride. Not the bad pride is cruel to others. Any person who's proud is always cruel to some others, either in speech or in behavior. But one who carries a healthy pride that I'm a representative of this wonderful parampara of the six Goswamis, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, my Guru, then with others, you can never be cruel or violent. You will only be a servant. That's the healthy pride. So here, Janaka has done. I am. She is my daughter. Now, Janaka has no bodily concept of life. Earlier in the day and yesterday, we heard from third verse of Nectar of Instruction, Niyamagra. Right? You heard the word Niyamagra. And we said that Prabhupada gives us two meanings, Niyama Agraha and Niyama Agraha. Similarly, here the word Iyam Sita Mama Sutta. It can mean Sita Mama Sutta, my daughter. Or Iyam Sita Mama Sutta, not my daughter. Right? Because there is no sense of possession. Therefore, in Yagyas, we say Idam Narayana Yaswaha Idam Namama. This is not mine. This is Narayana's. Idam Vishnave Swaha. This is for Lord Vishnu. Idam Namama. So Janaka is a great yogi. So he's saying, Iyam Sita Amama Sutta. She belongs to you. I'm just a caretaker. Therefore, the title Janaka. So saying this, Pavitra Pativrata Mahabhaga Chayeva Anugata Sada Ityuktva, having said this, Prakshipat, he sprinkled Raja, that is Janaka, Mantra Putam Jalam Tada. Putam purified. Mantra Putam, water that was purified by appropriate mantras, he sprinkled on the hands of both of them. Sita and Rama. Panigrahanam was done. Now suddenly when Panigrahanam is done, the entire sky is filled with Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, the Rishis, the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, Kim Purusha, they all have come to witness this fantastic event that finally Sita Devi is with Sri Ramachandra. Because only then can the Ramayana actually move forward. And when the Ramayana moves forward, why are they all happy? The Devatas are happy because Ravana will be killed. The Rishis are happy because there are in Dandakaranya millions of Rishis who have been sitting, standing, underwater, hanging from trees, not breathing, not eating for thousands of years to get one glimpse of Sri Ramachandra. They've been waiting and waiting and waiting. And now these Rishis are celebrating that finally they will get the vision of Sri Ramachandra. So the sages and everybody in the sky very loudly said, Sadhu, Sadhu iti devanam, Rishinam vadatam tada. Deva dundurbi nirghosha. Indra is playing the drums, or Indra's assistants, they're all playing the drums. Deva dundurbi nirghosha, Pushpa varsho mahan abhut. Ramachandra and Sita Devi were showered with millions of flowers in front of them. And that's the end of the wedding. But the final is, why is this important? Now let's look at the story part. The story part is there is a lot of romance. They're seeing each other. They're navigating, meeting each other. From a dharma perspective, Sri Ramachandra will perform as a grahastha, he can only perform his duties when his consort is with him. It gives him eligibility. That is why a brahmachari takes on a wife so that he can perform Agnishtoma Homa and others because he needs a consort with him, a wife with him. Otherwise, he's not eligible. So it's new eligibility. From a tattva perspective, which is important for us, see, there is a there was a Sri Vaishnava Acharya by the name Vedanta Deshika. Vedanta Deshika, and I'll give more details when we meet next time because I'm on far beyond 5 minutes. I don't even notice. I'm so sorry. Vedanta Deshika says that the tattva level is that this is the story of the jiva. Sita is the jiva, not is the jiva, but plays the role of the jiva. I should be careful with my words. Because the jiva is feminine, not masculine, right? Krishna says, Aparameyam Mitaswanyam, Prakritim Vidhime Para. I have another energy called the jiva. Prakriti is always feminine. Just see that. Ramachandra, the Supreme Lord. Ravana, he says, is the mind that captures the jiva and keeps them locked in the island called Lanka, which is the body situated in the ocean of material existence. Hanuman plays the role of the Guru, brings the message of the Lord. And what is the message? The Ramanama, which we will see tomorrow. So the marriage that Janaka is giving Sita and asking Ramachandra to hold the hand of Sita means the Guru is important that as initiation in the presence of fire, the Guru hands the disciple to the Supreme Lord. Please hold the hand of your disciple, this Jiva now. It's our marriage to the Supreme. It's a very sacred event that has a lot of meaning for us. That we are all Jivas lost, that the Lord has to reclaim. So it's important topic. And from Rasa perspective, everybody likes to see Sita with Ramachandra and how they came together. And I will end here because I have taken way too much time. I'm about 20 minutes over. I'm very, very sorry. This in the entire Ramayana, this is my favorite part. So I'm being a little selfish. Please forgive me. Thank you for your patience. Sri Sita Rama Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Radha Madhava ki jai. Samaveta Bhakti ki jai. Please forgive me. I took too much time. If there are questions, hold on to them. When we meet next time, we can. I don't want to violate your schedule.
Anybody has any questions? So, who you refer Janak-Bala is, the many Janaka, it's a title. But in the Bhagavatam, we see that one Mahajan, one of them is Janaka.
Yeah, his name is Nimi.
Referring to the whole Janak-Bala or the Bushadwas?
Nimi. His name is Nimi.
Also, Nimi is being referred in
The Navayogendras are speaking with Nimi.
So the 12 Mahajans which have been spoken by Yamaras, even that.
But it is referred as a title Janaka. So
Oh,
we can
Janaka.
take as pretty much every Janaka because they get that title.
So I didn't know that the Devi Maharaj is a Janak.
Oh, no. Oh, so I didn't say it. So when Sita and Rama were getting married, Lakshmana is also there. Then Shatananda said, we have another daughter, Urmila. I said, hey, yeah, that's her. So Urmila was betrothed to Lakshmana. Then Janaka's younger brother, Siradhwaj is also there, who has two daughters, Mandavi and Shutakirti. So because the Dasharatha came, Bharata Shatrughna also came. So Mandavi was given to Bharata and Shutakirti was given to Shatrughna. All four marriages were conducted at the same time. 4 in 1.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful class. I have a question. Why Radharani and Sita Devi are born? I mean, is there any scriptures mentioned about the divine.
Why they are not good?
Like Krishna and Ramchandra, Sri Ramchandra are born. Like
Krishna was not necessarily born because he should. I mean, imagine a mother delivering a baby with 4 arms, Kirita, Kavasha, Kundala, everything.
like if you are from
She had the sense, she felt him in her womb. When he appeared, full Vaibhava of the Supreme. Ramchandra was in the womb for 12 months.
yeah, like they appear from the mother.
Because he has to take the form of a human being. She is not obliged. She is the queen. She doesn't have to appear like a nature. That is why in the end also, she goes back into the earth and not with Ramachandra into the surrounding.
So it's like she
Devi is
doesn't
Devi.
require-
Yeah, she's special. In entire Ramayana, everybody has a doubt whether Ramachandra is God or human being. But it has to be a human being. That's why Ramachandra does not accept that he is king. Even if someone says, you are God, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will say, no, I'm a human being, I'm a son of Dasharatha. Because only when he is in the bhava of a human being can Ravana die. Otherwise, Ravana cannot die. So that promise that Lord Brahma kept has to be preserved. And the only one that can kill Ravana is a human being. So Ramachandra is always in the bhava of a human being. Therefore, he's crying, and it's the human bhava. And Sita is not obliged by that. But she's always with.
Same as Radha.
I mean, none of them is ever born, but as part of the past, she comes in her full glory. Therefore, in the forest, Ramachandra is wearing Valkala and deer skin, and his hair is matted. Sita Devi is wearing Navli saris with jewelry. All and what jewelry? Never repeated. Dasharatha said when she goes to the forest, for 14 years, all the saris she needs, all the jewelry she needs must go with her. Who was carrying all that? Our Lakshmana. He never wore that. When she tried to wear, she could wear it, she started crying. That's when Dasharatha said she doesn't need to wear. So even in the forest, she's all prim and proper. Okay, we'll end here.
Sorry, but we can't.
Oh,
Just
don't
now,
tell me sorry. I have to say sorry to the organizers.
one question just now, like Ramchandra married Sita to the platform, whatever. But sannyasis or brahmacharis, they perform. They always have some pravastas.
I mean, sannyasis cannot have a woman performing
Like
that.
without,
They don't-
cannot perform, that's what you mentioned, right?
Generally, they don't.
Cannot.
But in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, what is the use if they don't? They do different kinds of service. But a grahastha has to perform yajna. Because we know from Bhagavad Gita, from yajna, yajna bhavati varsha. Right? So for the subsistence, he has to perform a yajna. We call it yuga dharma. This is Treta Yuga. So yuga dharma is yajna. So in that sense, but for a person to perform yajna has to have a consort or wife with him. Otherwise, no eligibility is not.
So it's always done by sannyasis, they do this kind of yagas.
Because they don't have to subsist on anything. They are just walking around, living in the forest or different. Because their dharmas in the varnashram is different than outside of the so much problems. Brahmacharis, in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives, Brahmacharis perform the yajna of hearing and studying. Others will perform different yajna. Grahasthas perform different yajna. The greatest yajna that a grahastha to perform is charity. But to give charity, they have to get something. To get something, they need. Hare Krishna.